everyone. Welcome to another week of Inside the Inferno. I'm Adam Noel. He's Carson Field. Carson, it's great to have you back at the desk, but I know you've been staying busy since the last time we anchored together.
Yeah, a little bit of an all-star break from this show, if you will, but it's good to be back. We got a lot to talk about on this edition. Softball opened up its 2020 campaign, and baseball heads into the season with sky-high expectations, and ASU Men's Basketball has found a rhythm. But first, let's toss it to Abby Sharpe in the newsroom. Abby?
Thanks, Carson. We'll head to the sand first. Former Sun Devil standout Whitney Follett is set to join number 20 ASU Beach Volleyball as a volunteer assistant coach. During her time at ASU, Follett played both indoor and beach volleyball and left her mark on both sports. In beach, she owns the top spot in career wins by an individual with 61. In indoor, Follett is third all-time in total blocks with 448, one of only 4 Sun Devils to record 400 career total blocks. The team will begin their season Friday, February 14th at 5 p.m. at the Pair Club with the Maroon and Gold scrimmage. Now to the track. 5 Sun Devils are set to compete for national titles at the USA Indoor Track and Field Championships. They will look to bring home titles on February 14th and 15th at the Albuquerque Convention Center. This meet will serve as the Team USA track and field selection for the 2020 IAAF World Indoor Championships in China. ASU Women's Golf finished 5th at Northrop Grumman Regional Challenge at Palos Verdes Golf Club this past weekend. Senior Olivia Mahaffey finished tied for 2nd. The team has a quick turnaround as they head to Guadalajara to play in the IJGA Invitational. If you're looking for something to do Saturday night, head over to Desert Financial Arena to watch gymnastics host number 4 UCLA for the Maroon Monsoon Meet. There will be free light-up devil horns handed out to the first 200 fans, and a DJ will be there to pump up the crowd. Now over to Adam and Connor to talk about ASU softball.
ASU Softball kicked off its 2020 season this past weekend at the Kajikawa Classic. The Sun Devils went 4-2 over the weekend, including a pair of comeback wins over Kansas and Northwestern. Getting us caught up on everything that happened is Inferno Intel softball reporter Conor McGill. Connor, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, Adam.
So for you, Connor, who were the biggest standouts on this ASU squad over the team's opening weekend?
Yeah, Adam, there was 3 in particular. The biggest one, which stole the show all weekend long, the senior pitcher, Celo Mesa, 28 strikeouts in a matter of 19 innings. Looking at that stat column, that's pretty impressive for 19 innings. The other 2 being Elena Torres, who had 3 home runs, the freshman, really good there. Strong freshman presence this weekend. And last but not least, who wouldn't expect this? Kendra Hackbarth with 8 RBIs, and we should definitely see a lot from her this season.
And over that opening weekend, which game outcome surprised you the most?
Yeah, I think it had to be that Kansas game that the Sun Devils won 8-5. They went down in the bottom of the 4th, 4-0, and ended up the day coming back in that one and put in 6 runs in the bottom of the 6th to win that game.
And what can fans expect from this Sun Devil team moving forward?
Well, Adam, I think you can very much expect this team to have a strong pitching presence on the mound as well as a strong hitting presence. We've seen the amount of home runs that were hit this weekend, so I think we're going to see a lot more home runs this season, and I definitely see the Sun Devils cracking the top 15 this year.
Well, Connor, thanks for coming on, and you can check out all his work at infernointel.com. Now we'll move from one diamond to the next as our very own Ashlyn Register spoke to ASU baseball fans ahead of the team's season opener.
With the ASU baseball season right around the corner on February 14th, we had the opportunity to talk to some fans about what they're excited about for the upcoming season.
Just like Josh said, just coming out, having fun, watching, just seeing like our old pride. And all people come and just say hi. It's pretty fun.
What are you most excited about for the ASU 2020 season?
The high expectations.
Why do you think they have such high expectations?
Well, evidently it's has a lot to do with the pitchers that they got in their squad this year.
What are you most excited about for the ASU 2020 baseball season?
Seeing all the players hit some dingers.
What are you most excited about for the ASU 2020 season?
Honestly, I'm excited to see great baseball, and I just want to be surprised, I want to see the surprise what they bring.
What are you most excited about for the 2020 ASU baseball season?
Seeing if they make a title run this year.
Do you think they will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To see if they win a national title.
Do you think they will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to watch some baseball, hopefully compete, maybe win a national championship.
The Sun Devils will face off against Villanova in their season opener. For Inferno Intel, I'm Ashlyn Register.
And who better to join me at the desk than Inferno Intel baseball reporter Koki Riley. Koki, I know you have a lot going on at the beginning of the baseball season, but how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Adam. How are you? Good?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. So, Koki, who's one of the newcomers that's going to provide the greatest impact on ASU this season?
Well, in my opinion, Justin Fall is the first name that comes up. I mean, this is a community college kid who transferred into ASU for this season. He could have gone to the MLB draft, but he decided to take his talents to ASU instead. Could have been maybe a second or third round draft pick, but he can raise his stock here at ASU as the ace of this top 5 team.
And looking at the rest of the Sun Devil squad, who's a player that we should keep an eye out for the most?
Well, one player to keep an eye out for the most for me is Cooper Benson. I mean, this is a freshman left-hander, out of San Luis Obispo High School. And this kid had a sub-1 ERA in high school in all 4 years. And to me, that's pretty good. So that's a guy that I would really keep an eye out for.
And the season opener is fast approaching. But Koki, do you have any predictions for the Sun Devils this upcoming year?
Well, my prediction is that they're going to make the College Baseball World Series. I know that's a really high bar to set, but this is the most talented team that Tracy Smith has had in his tenure at ASU, and the rotation is a lot deeper than it was in years past. That also helps bolster the bullpen, and then the lineup. All 4 infielders are coming back from last season's team.
Well, Koki, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And you can check out all his work at InfernoIntel.com. Next up is ASU Hockey with Carson Fields and Jenna Ortiz.
Thanks, Adam. I'm joined by ASU Hockey analyst Jenna Ortiz. Jenna, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Carson.
What did you see from this past weekend when they played against Bentley and Holy Cross?
The program is ranked in the top 10 for the first time ever. And this past weekend, they became one of 4 teams in the country to reach 20 wins. They did this last year, but this year's team is different. They reached that 20-win mark much quicker than last year and have more offensive support to do that.
What seems to be working specifically for the special teams aspect?
The penalty kill has been great. They've killed the last 32 power plays opportunities and ranked 10th in the NCAA. Credit to the defense there. However, it's not the same on the power play. They've had some success here and there, but this past weekend, we didn't see that. They also rank 35th in the NCAA, so there's a lot of room for improvement.
As we go forward, which player do you think it is that we should specifically watch out for?
It's going to be senior weekend, and there's a few key players leaving after this year. But defenseman Brinson Pashnuk is one of them, and he's going to be chasing his 100th career point. He would be the first in the program history to get that. Also, he's 4th in voting for the Hobie Baker Award. Big things happening for the senior class.
Now let's head back to the friendly confines of Desert Financial Arena, now that we've talked a little bit about Oceanside. And now here's Ryan to talk about women's basketball.
After a 5-game winning streak in January, including 2 upset victories at home over number 2 Oregon and number 3 Oregon State, the Sun Devils have slipped up, losing 4 of their last 5 games and are currently on a 3-game losing streak after being swept by both the Oregon schools last week. As the Sun Devils have struggled as a team, senior guard Robbie Ryan has been on top of her game since the end of first semester. In the past 13 games for ASU, Ryan has scored in double digits in 9 of those 13 games. She's averaging 13 points a game, shooting 42.5% from beyond the arc during that stretch. The Sun Devils are going to need senior forward Jatavia Tapley to step up in the final stretch of the season, as she has taken a step back, averaging only 7.8 points over the team's past 5 games. Tapley is a key part of the offense, and without her offensive contribution, the offense tends to struggle more. However, ASU is still projected a 6th seed in the Portland region, despite the struggles the past couple weeks. The Sun Devils are back in action this weekend as they take on Washington State Friday and Washington on Sunday at Desert Financial Arena. Now, we'll lay down the match on the hardwood and switch it over to Sun Devil Wrestling.
ASU Wrestling continues to pile up wins as it defeated Little Rock in a Pac-12 matchup 38-9 and Missouri 21-13. Now I'm joined by Inferno Intel Wrestling reporter Nick Zeller-Singh. Nick, it's great to have you on.
Oh man, it's a blast to be on here to talk about wrestling.
And for you, Nick, what was it that led the Sun Devils to those wins over Little Rock and Missouri this past weekend?
You know what, in duels, there's one common phrase, and it's pin and don't get pinned. And against Little Rock, the Sun Devils did exactly, as they struggled with the lightweights as they lost, small margin decisions. While the heavyweights, they earned 3 straight pins and a forfeit for 4 wins in a row. And for Missouri, besides a tough loss for Cordell Norfleet, the Devils won nearly every match they were favored in, including Ja'Cory Teamer, who earned an upset decision to seal the deal as well.
And in your opinion, what was the significance of these wins for the team?
Well, for Little Rock, the team win was good, but the individual wins was great because it's the significance that comes into place with the Pac-12 championships right around the corner. And all these matchups come into play for seeding there, as well as the NCAA championships. And for Missouri, it was sort of the same aspect, as a few matchups showcased two ranked wrestlers fighting off against each other for seeding. So for whoever won, they earned a slight edge when it comes to these NCAA seedings.
And who do you believe shined in these two duels for ASU?
You know what? I'm going with the surprise wrestler of the season, and that's Brandon Courtney. Coming into the season, he was unranked, and as of today, he's now all the way up to 7th, and he's 9th in major decisions in a single season in ASU history. And besides this major decision this weekend, he also earned a tech fall to support the Devils with many bonus points.
Well, Nick, I appreciate you coming on, and you can check out all his work at infernointel.com. Now let's go out to Desert Financial Arena, where our very own James Malamis recapped this past weekend's action.
Looking to keep their momentum rolling after a dominating victory against UCLA, the Sun Devils host the USC Trojans. In an intense game, it went down to the final seconds as a Remy Martin jumper with the game tied gave ASU the lead with 19 seconds left. ASU needed one defensive stop, and the game was theirs. ASU head coach Bobby Hurley had confidence in his star point guard and said he even got a little bit of help from the basketball gods.
He had an open look, and that's his shot. You know, when he gets to a spot on the mid-range shots, those are his best. In my opinion, he stops really fast and he's right into a shot. I mean, I saw like everyone did, and it hit every part of the rim and the backboard, and it seems like it was up there forever. But you know, he's about the right things. He's worked on his game like no other guy that I've been around in terms of the offseason. He put the work in, and karma and the basketball gods are with him.
Prior to Remy Martin's jump shot in the final seconds, ASU's offense hadn't scored a field goal in over 11 minutes. Martin puts it on himself and says it's his responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen.
I got to do a better job of not turning the ball over. I think I had way too many turnovers today. But, you know, we got the job done, but I'm still looking at the wrong stuff that, you know, we could, you know, get better at, because on any given night, somebody might, you know, take that game over by the turnovers and the not scoring that possession. So we got to do a better job. I got to do a better job of that.
ASU used a strong defensive showing in the second half to erase an 8-point halftime deficit. They limited Jonah Matthews to only 5 second-half points after erupting for 17 in the first. ASU will now travel to face Stanford and Cal next weekend. In Tempe, James Malamis, Inferno Intel.
ASU men's basketball used an important homestand last weekend to sweep the LA schools and vault up in both the conference standings and the NCAA tournament bubble picture. The two games had very little in common, other than the result, another addition to the win column. Against UCLA, ASU shot 50% from the field and a scorching 58% from three-point range. Alonzo Verge had 26 points, including 24 in the second half, when the Sun Devils pulled away from the Bruins to win 84-66. 2 nights later, with USC in town, the Sun Devil shooting fell cold. Despite shooting just 31% and trailing by as many as 13, ASU was able to completely shut down the USC offense and make their way back into the game. Head coach Bobby Hurley ordered a full-court press on the Trojans, and for almost the entire second half, USC had no answer. With under 20 seconds to go in a tie game, Remy Martin hit the go-ahead jumper from the right elbow that spun around every part of the rim. ASU held on the last defensive play, but it did come at a cost. Sophomore forward Tayshaun Cherry landed awkwardly and will miss a few weeks with an ankle injury. This weekend, the Sun Devils have an opportunity to move on to the right side of the bubble.
With a split against Stanford and Cal, ASU will likely remain just where they are, in the last 4 in or first 4 out territory. However, a sweep that includes a road win over Stanford, ranked 29th in the NET ratings, would help their tournament chances tremendously. Now I'll send it back to the guys with this week's headlines.
This is Inferno Intel Headlines. Adam and here are here to break down some of the biggest storylines in ASU athletics this past week, and I'll jump right in. Former ASU quarterback and assistant coach Mike Bercovici has joined the Arizona Cardinals staff. Bercovici is known for his signature Hail Mary play against USC in 2014, and he logged 42 touchdowns during his college career. The 27-year-old will now be tasked with developing young signal caller Kyler Murray. Adam, what do you think about this?
I think it's a great move for Bercovici, the former Sun Devil quarterback. Obviously, he had a job over with ASU on the offense, doing some things with the quarterbacks. I think it's a great step for him going to the professional level and doing some things with the Arizona Cardinals. And he's doing it while he stays home, so it's really a great move for him. And we could see something possibly pop up down the line, offensive coordinator, head coaching job. You never know.
That's possible.
I mean, it could either come at the collegiate or the professional level, but I think it's a great move for Bercovici overall. For my headline, I'm going with something that seems to be becoming an annual event, and that's ASU women's lacrosse hanging out with the Golden State Warriors. The team took photos with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and newly acquired Andrew Wiggins on Wednesday morning of this week. And if you can recall, it was last year when that video of Curry and the team passing a ball back and forth went viral. Carson, gotta have some fun with the Golden State Warriors.
I mean, I just want to know what it takes to join that team, because that's just awesome. But seriously, that's a great experience for the girls. Glad they could do that. Second year in a row, really cool. But now let's go to Nick Hodell, who has this week's Pro Devil highlight.
Even though Phil Mickelson may have struggled in the final round of the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am on Sunday, the former Sun Devil still made quite the impact with a third-place finish at 14 under par. Mickelson became the third player ever to have at least one top 10 finish for 30 consecutive seasons, joining Sam Snead and Raymond Floyd. Mickelson started the Genesis Invitational at the Riviera Country Club with a first-round score of 1 over par and tees off his second round on Friday at 12:52.
Well, I think that about wraps it up here. It's the most hectic time in the college sports season, so make sure you're following along at infernointel.com.
Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Inferno Intel. Thanks for watching.